I want to talk to you today about how we'll be celebrating Rosh Hashanah this year. It's a new experience for most of us, and some of us are disappointed not to be gathering in person. I do understand, but I would like to point out there may be some positive things about getting to celebrate Rosh Hashanah at home. You can't possibly forget your tickets at home and have to rush back and arrive late. You won't have to look for a parking space and then walk in the hot sun or the rain. When you're sitting in services, you won't have to freeze because the air conditioning is turned on too high, or sweat because it's not turned on high enough. You won't have to worry about someone climbing over you to get in and out of the service. And if you don't like the rabbi's sermon, you can just turn the volume down. So you have to admit, there might be some good things about celebrating Rosh Hashanah at home. Let's talk about the worship space. Where are you going to watch the service? My recommendation is that you try to make it feel special. Maybe sit someplace that has a pleasant view where you can see out a window or look at something beautiful. You might arrange your lighting to be twinkle lights or candles or something soothing. Perhaps you'd like to have photographs of your loved ones, whether they've passed on or are still with you, but you can't travel to be together this year. And as for technology, you might want to explore how to turn the notifications off on your computer so you don't get interrupted during the service with, "You have a new Facebook message." Now, who will you watch the service with? Perhaps you live with someone, perhaps you don't. I have a few thoughts. The first is, if it's at all safe for you, then consider inviting someone over to your home to watch the service with you. And you don't have to watch inside. Maybe you'd like to have a watch party in your backyard where people can spread out in the open air. If you don't feel comfortable having others in your home, consider being on the phone with them during services. Then you can do the usual kibitzing that I hear during the service, although this time on the phone. Think about what kind of clothing you'd like to wear. For some of us, it will feel more like Rosh Hashanah if we put on our suits and our fancy shoes and our talits. For others, we may like to take advantage of the situation that this year we can dress more casually and comfortably. I also recommend some sort of festive meal. Maybe you're not going to a large gathering or preparing a brisket for 20, but I think it's still important to enjoy some of the Rosh Hashanah foods, whether that's preparing an elaborate meal for just the people in your household, or perhaps something simple like making sure that you have apples and honey in hand. Or maybe just eating your favorite food. I also recommend enjoying the experience of a Shehechianu. One of the traditions on Rosh Hashanah is to try to have a new experience so we can say the blessing over new experiences. So go ahead and buy a new article of clothing, or if you're a book nerd like me, that new book you've been wanting to read, something that allows you to bless what's new. I also recommend setting a personal goal for the service. There's a lot of hardworking staff and volunteers doing our best to provide a high holiday experience, and the circumstances aren't ideal. And that means it's really going to come down to you, shaping your own experience this year. So what will make the services feel good? Is it the goal of hearing some familiar tunes or some uplifting words of Torah? Is it simply being connected to the tradition by watching? Is it calling loved ones and sharing the experience with them? But if you think ahead of time, what's a realistic goal for this year's high holiday experience, I think you're more likely to have a satisfying one. And finally, a word of caution. It's a slim possibility that something will go wrong with the technology. Stream Spot won't be working. The electricity in the synagogue could go out. The internet, or those things could happen in your home. So, if that does happen, what will you do? Will you abandon the idea of celebrating Rosh Hashanah at all? Maybe you'll look through the Machzor, the High Holiday Prayer Book, and find just the prayers that are your favorites and do something simple. Whatever it is you decide, be prepared for that possibility. I look forward to a happy 5781 with all of you, and my deepest wish is that we all feel connected as we start the new year together. L'Shana Tova, a happy new year.